baby dragons! Hey, what's good, Game of Thrones fans? This is the Campfire Crew, and we're here to talk about Game of Thrones, Season 6, Episode 9, Battle of the Bastards. Look guys, we've got 8 moments that I'm going to try to get through fairly quickly. Alright, but before we do, make sure to drop a like on this video. It really helps out the channel, and I would appreciate it. Moment number 1. The siege on Meereen. Tyrion opens up, backpedaling in his "see what had happened was" mentality.
Despite appearances, I think you'll find the city's on the rise.
But if you think about it, Tyrion actually did a good job. I mean, when Dany left, the city was under attack. She gets run off. Drogon is jacked up, you know, so what did she expect when she come back? Tyrion managed to calm things down, keep the peace, and the city was thriving. So, good job, Tyrion. Job well done. Dany's plan was to crucify the masters and return their cities to dirt.
I will crucify the masters. I will set their fleets afire, kill every last one of their soldiers, and return their cities to the dirt.
Tyrion stands his ground, continues to advise her, which I really enjoyed that he was able to keep calm even though he was super nervous and keep a level head and do what he was supposed to do, which was advise. Hey, calm down. Do you realize how crazy your father was, and do you know what he was going to do? Talking about all the wildfire that we got dispersed out through all the major places in King's Landing, which I talked about in my last video. You can go check it out. But anyway, Dany, not being her father, rationalized with Tyrion, adheres his advice, and then meets with the masters. Enter cocky masters. Why don't you leave the city now on foot like the beggar queen that you are? Your rule is in the end.
You will flee Slavers Bay on foot, like the beggar queen you are. Your reign is over.
Oh, no. Dany ain't going out like that. We know Dany, mother of dragons, queen of this, that, and the third. She ain't going out. Enter Dragon. Now, these masters were scared. I'd have been scared too, but they couldn't have been shocked. Bro, I mean, they know she has dragons. They even made a mention of it once before. And she left on a dragon. How in the world did they think she got back? What did they think she was going to show up with? A pet turtle? I kill you! Anyway, oh my goodness, the size of Drogon. He comes in, he's flying up. They terrified. I know those people in that boat were like, they were down there slinging fire, and they probably looked up and was like, I mean, them jokers were probably ready to turn around. I bet you some of them did turn around. But anyway, the dragon goes off. Out come the other two. Finally, we get to see the other two dragons kind of in action. I'm surprised it wasn't sunshot. I mean, they've been down there for a while. I don't know who was feeding them. I don't know what was going on. I'm surprised they weren't all weak and feeble coming out. You know, when the sun hits you, been inside for so long. Yeah. Anyway, I would have liked to seen just a little bit more dragon action, but what I did see was super satisfying, and I know the show spent their majority of their budget on the battle scene, so I'll live. I'll see dragons another day. But anyway, let's move on to moment number 2. The parlay between John and Ramsay. Before we get into that, let's make a quick shout out to Lady Mormont. She's just sitting there on her little horse looking fierce as ever. Love it. The back and forth between these two groups was great. I really enjoyed it. Ramsay opens up. Thank you for returning Lady Bolton to me unharmed. Now get off your horse, bow a knee, declare me the true Warden of the North and Lord of Winterfell.
Thank you for returning Lady Bolton safely. Now, dismount and kneel before me. Surrender your army and proclaim me the true Lord of Winterfell and Warden of the North.
I thought it was great. John's counteroffer. I challenge you to one-on-one combat.
You against me.
As much as I like that idea, it wouldn't have been satisfying enough, 1. But 2, we know the show wasn't going to do that. We knew the battle was coming. But I do like the response from Ramsay because it was kind of what I was thinking after all. And he is smart, and they showed that he was smart. Like, I don't know if I can beat you. They say you're the great swordsman, so who knows? Maybe I beat you, maybe I don't. But I do know my army can beat your army. And so that was that. He then kind of, those little counter offerings like, you know, you're too proud to surrender, throws the wolf head out there. You know that thing was right. I mean, it's not like they got deep freezers or anything. He's just carrying this thing around in a bag. So probably added extra to that scene for them to smell that dead head and think about their brother Rickon. Ramsay's about to make a comment. Sansa interrupts. You're gonna die tomorrow, Lord Bolton.
Now, if you want to say...
You're going to die tomorrow, Lord Bolton.
What? The girl was hardcore. End scene, moment number 3. Sansa and John meeting. Now, Sansa subtly stole this show. And I say subtle because you're not stealing the show from 3 dragons, an epic battle, and a giant ripping a man in half. Okay? But the power that she displayed in the parlay continued on with her and John's conversation in that tent, as she angrily and forcefully tells him, you should consult me, okay? You know what you know about Ramsay from a 5-minute meeting. I lived with the man. I know what he's like. I know the way he thinks. He's going to try to bait you. He's going to play mind games, and he's very good at it. Now, she does make a comment where she says, I would have waited for a bigger army. This actually kind of made me mad because you have no right to get mad at John. He tried to do everything he could to gather all the armies that he thought was available to him. You're the one that held the veil in your back pocket. Still not really sure. I want to ask you a question. Do you think that Sansa did not trust John to use the army in the right way because she knew that he would get emotional and baited out by Ramsay? Thought that he might just get this army killed? Or do you think she wasn't that sure if the army was going to show up? I mean, we never saw her getting a raven back. Like she had said before, maybe it could get intercepted. So I don't really know. I'd be curious to see what y'all think in the comment section below. Do you think Sansa didn't trust John? Or do you think she just wasn't sure and was trying to wait for him to show up before he attacked, and then they could attack with the full army? Curious to see what y'all think about it. Favorite moment number 4. The Greyjoys make a pact with Dany. Look, when we're not getting all-out action in this episode, we've got really good dialogue and back and forth scenes with strong characters. In this instance, it was Dany and Yara. Look, Dany really felt like a queen in this episode. You know, I'd actually grown tired of her rants and, you know, her source of power and, you know, her speeches and stuff, right? She ruled, but it all seemed so fragile, right? Like, she seemed like she never fully had the respect of all of her people or anything like that. Like, she was still training, like she was still trying to learn the ropes. But in this instance, with Tyrion by her side, which helped her case for feeling queenly, you know, she has a really smart advisor. Tyrion might be the best advisor to anybody ever. Just, he's perfect in that role. Anyway, she talks with Yara, she weighs her options, makes what I consider to be the right call. Now she has 3 big, healthy dragons, the rest of the slave master's fleet, the Unsullied, all the Dothraki, and now 100 plus more ships with some Iron warriors to boot.
You've brought us 100 ships from the Iron Fleet, with men to sail them.
Things are about to get real. All right, this is her first real pact. This is her first real move towards Westeros. She had little pieces here and now, but now she's got a force to be reckoned with and a way to get over there. Moment number 5. The battle. Oh man, where do I start with this? Rickon used it to bait out John, okay? Now, it wasn't a surprise. Sansa even called it. I knew what was gonna happen, right? We knew Rickon was gonna die, but I was still on the edge of my seat the entire time. They even gave you a small sliver of hope that he might actually make it. I thought that was great because initially I was like, he's done for, right? But then he gets closer and closer, and it was that moment when Ramsay really concentrated, but then still missed. It's like, oh my goodness, he might. What's going to happen? How's it going to play out? Still gets killed, leaves John standing there in the middle of the battlefield alone, draws his sword and says, let's get it, as he's being charged. I love this shot right here. It was great, and that whole Rickon scene really set the tone for the whole battle, and that tone was suspense. There was a lot of really in-your-face, impactful scenes. There were like a lot of cut shots. And I enjoyed that. I thought it was really good filmmaking. It was cool. Really made you feel like you were in the battle. Completely in the battle. John handling his business, doing his thing. Tommen rips out the Umber's throat. I mean, complete wilding savage mode. Now, I was surprised, to be honest, because I half expected Tormund to get killed during this battle. There was a few scenes where it was just kind of like, he might actually go. And that leaves a question, and that question is Game of Thrones scared to kill off major characters now? I mean, you think about the first couple of seasons, it didn't matter. He was done. You think about Robb and his wife and the Red Wedding, complete shock to me. I was just like, I couldn't believe it. I was gasping. I was like, I can't believe they just went so hardcore mode like that and killed these characters that I was in love with, that I loved. Not in love with. That's a little much. Forget I said that. Anyway, we're going to be doing a video about that tomorrow. And that is going to be, is Game of Thrones scared to kill off major characters? Got a lot of interesting information and thoughts behind that, so make sure to tune in for that as well. Anyway, they get surrounded. They're on the edge of death. So what happens next? Moment number 6. Enter the Vale. Sorry, I couldn't help but think of Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, The Battle at Helm's Deep. I just couldn't resist. Moment number 7. Wan busting through the door, priceless. I mean, Ramsay had no time to think. We have Winterfell. We'll wait them out.
We have Winterfell. They don't have the men for siege. All we have to do is wait.
Boom! Surprise, mother effer! We here! Entering the guards, everybody gets shot down with the arrows. It was great. Ramsay put arrows in Wan's eye. That kind of sucked. For a second, I was like, yo, Wan might survive. This man had just arrows sticking all in him all over the place, had spears. Dude's a soldier, straight up. But he died. Sad day, but that leaves Ramsay and John. John handles his business, beats him down, beating him to a bloody pulp. Forget swords, forget arrows, forget everything. I put my fist to you, boy. But in classic tag team action, turns, looks at Sansa for the finish. Moment number 8. Ramsay gets eaten. I could not have thought of a better demise to Ramsay than what we saw in this episode. At all. It was bar none perfect. There were a few times that I thought during this episode, what if he dies this way? What if he died that way? And each time it just didn't leave me satisfied. I was like, that's not the right way to kill him. One of the hardest things to do, I feel like, is to get a satisfying death for an evil villain. You're just always like, that was good, but they nailed it with this episode. They nailed it with Ramsay. The second I saw Sansa behind the gate, the second, I knew the dogs were going to kill him. Sure enough, it happened. A dog killed by his dogs. I thought it was great because it kind of signified that nobody's loyal to Ramsay because Ramsay's not loyal to anybody. You abuse your dogs, basically you starve them for a whole week and it come back to bite you. See what I did there? And what kind of people are we anyway to be satisfied in love knowing that another human got eaten by dogs? Savages, that's what. Anyway, the scene of Sansa sitting there watching this happen and then turn around and walk away with that smirk on her face, a little smile, was the money shot for this episode. And that's saying a lot because there was a lot that happened in this episode. This is not the same girl that left Winterfell back in season 1. I feel like this was kind of symbolic of the end of her past, right? Like the death of Ramsay in this way just kind of finished off the old Sansa to arise a new Sansa to do whatever this new Sansa's gonna do. But I can't wait to see it unfold. But guys, let me know. Oh, and the banners. How did I not mention that? The banners of the Stark banners, you know, coming down. I loved it. The Starks are back home. They're kind of getting together. Arya''s on her way back. We're in for a treat, people. The show did not disappoint. I'm glad because it really picked up the slack for the past couple of episodes, I felt like. But anyway, guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, guys, I'm out.